Alrighty, so again, if thou bringest thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift at the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer the gift. So again, agree with thine adversary while you're still with him, because, I remember when I was a kid, I broke a window. My first instinct was to run in my room. It was one of my neighbor's windows. Run in my room under my bed. But, I remember Jesus said something about, taking it on the chin. Agree with your adversary while you're still in the way with him, lest he calls the officers, and you have to go to court and deal with it. So, you screw up, you stand right there, you stand up to it, because, it's just going to make it worse if you run. So again, if you're bringing a gift to the altar, don't bring a gift to God if you still have a problem with a brother or family or your wife or whatever. First go to them, be reconciled, get forgiveness, be forgiven, whatever. Then come and offer thy gift to God, because now you're doing it in purity, you're doing it with clean robes, and you don't have no animosity in your heart. Agree, and again he says here, agree with thine adversary quickly while thou art still in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, that thou shalt by no means come out hence until thou hast paid the uttermost farthing, the last penny. And again, take it on the chin, deal with it, and move on. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Now, even looking at Playboys, even, checking out the channels on cable or whatever, are we looking at women and lusting after them? One thing to notice beauty, it's another thing to lust. So he's saying if you've done it in your mind, you've already done it, and it is a sin. So, especially for married or whatever, you look at her and her only. That is your heaven, and that is the law of God. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is more profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and that not thy whole body should be cast into hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off, and cast it from thee. For it is more profitable for them that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. What is he saying? Cut off your eyes and pluck out your arms? Vice versa. That's a joke. No, he's saying if there's a sin, if there's something that's preventing you from getting into heaven, cut it off right then and there. Because it's better to go to heaven with one arm than it is to go to hell with two. So whatever it is that's plaguing you, get rid of it instantly. And if you need help, that's where Christ comes in, brother. Gives you that strength. He says, when your burdens are too heavy, give it to me and I'll bear it. And that's why he's here. He's already paid the price. So let's take advantage of it. Okay, it hath been said, whoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. Basically saying, don't mess with another man's woman, or another woman's man, or, if you both know each other's married, don't do it. That's what the rings are for. It's a commitment. It ruins families. It destroys lives. And, it's not worth it. I'm telling you. Again, ye have heard the old time that it had been said by old, that thou shalt not forswear thyself, but that thou shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. And whatsoever is more than this cometh of evil. You don't need to swear on the holy stack of Bibles. You don't need to swear on God or nothing. Just your word is your honor. If it's yes, when they hear the word yes, that is your word. If it's no, same thing. You don't need to swear, because that's just... Swearing is for fools. Ye have heard that it had been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn it to him also the other. And if any man will sue thee at the law, and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak as well. You know, these lawyers wouldn't even have jobs if we obeyed this law. I mean, if someone's trying to sue you, fine, have my coat as well. I also have a donkey outside. You can have that because you represent one. You know, you are not here to try to get reward and justice. You know, a guy comes to Jesus one day and he says, you know, my brother took my inheritance because he was a lawyer, and I took care of my dad. And when my dad died, the brother came in and he claimed all the inheritance, and I am left with nothing. So will you come with me and talk to him? And Jesus says, well, why did you tell me this? And the guy says, well, I want justice. And Jesus says, well, justice is all that a naked man can carry in his pockets. Justice is all that an armless man can carry in his arms. In other words, this is not the world for justice. We are not here for justice. That comes in the next life. You know, we are here to just do the best we can and to feed his sheep. You know, this is the words that we feed his sheep with. This was so important that the last words Jesus ever spoke to his apostles was, feed my sheep. And then Peter, okay. And then he says it again, feed my sheep. Peter, okay. And then the third time, feed my sheep. He had to get to the apostles the importance, because they wanted to go back with Jesus. They wanted to die and hurry and go back home. Jesus says, no, you're not here for that. You're here to feed my sheep. Look for those lost sheep. You know, it's not religion. I don't belong to no church. I just belong to God. And so, you know, you find someone that's not happy, this is how you feed them. You read them these 3 chapters. And if you do nothing more in the Bible but to live and read these 3 chapters, this will get you into heaven, brothers. And so again, he's just basically saying, turn the other cheek, and you know, if someone's trying to sue you, give them your coat as well. You know, who cares about justice? Just give till it hurts. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Now, back in the days of Christ, the Romans could legally ask a Jew to take their stuff and carry it for a mile. And Jesus says, go the extra mile. Do more than they ask of you. Because that's what makes you different from others. If you just do what the law requires, you're not living the spirit of the law. You're just living the letter. He's saying, live the spirit of the law. And you think that extra mile, that Roman, might even be your friend. Because he's going to realize you didn't have to do this. And you're going to say, you know, I did the first mile for the law, but I'm going to do the second mile for you because I actually like you. I like your armor. It's kind of shiny, you know. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the time to get to know people. And whosoever shall, let's see, given to them who ask of thee, and to him that would borrow of thee, turn them not away. Pretty self-explanatory. Anyone that asks for anything, if you can give it, give it. If you can't, tell them, you know what, and mean it in your heart. If I had it, I would, but I don't, so I can't. But, you know, give till it hurts. You've heard that it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them which hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? And if ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So again, your reward is for those who can't really pay you back. They're not, you know, they may not be the best looking guy in the bunch. You may not be, you know, give the larger woman that may not be dancing a time to dance. I mean, let somebody have a good time, even though it may not be cool, even though it may not be, you know, popular, whatever. That's what he's saying, you know, because that's where your rewards come, and this is where true happiness comes in. Because when you see other people light up from what you've done for them, your happiness gets amplified and shot right back to you sevenfold. And so, yeah, I get very excited reading this, brothers. Okay, chapter 6. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Now, back in their days, they used to blow trumpets. It says, therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have the glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have the reward. Could you believe these guys used to blow trumpets and get everyone's attention just so that they could see how much they were getting and giving to the temple treasury? And he gives a parable on this. He says, out of all these rich guys that gave all this money, he points to a little old lady and he says, she gave more than all these men. And they went and looked how much this lady gave, and it was 2 pennies, 2 mites. And they said, Master, how could 2 pennies be more than, 50,000 talents, which is probably $1 million or so? And Jesus says, well, these rich guys gave what they could easily spare. But this woman gave it all. That's what counts in God's eyes. But when thou doest thine alms, don't let thy left hand know what thy right hand is doing. You don't want no one to know, because if you do it in secret, you get rewarded openly. And he'll say that here. That thine alms may be seen in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut the door, pray unto the Father which is in secret. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Even in Israel right now, they got the Wailing Wall. These guys are praying. He's saying, you don't need to be seen of man. You don't need to act righteous. You need to be righteous. And that's why you go in your closet, because you don't want to actually look like you're talking to God. You actually want to be talking to God. There's a difference here. But when thou prayest again, enter to thy closet, and when thou hast shut the door, pray unto thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. But when you pray, don't use vain repetitions as the heathens do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. Be not therefore like unto them, for your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye even ask him. After this manner, wherefore pray ye. Now again, why does he call us his children? Why is he our Father? Why do we announce him and pray to him as our Father? Because he wants us to actually talk to him as you would your father. If you had a really cool dad, wouldn't you be fishing and hiking and talking about everything under the sun? That's what he wants. He wants a relationship with his kids. Prayer is when you talk to God, and meditation is when he talks to you. So you're going to do a few things. Pray and then ponder. It's meditating. So after this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Okay, well, let's take this little piece apart. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. We don't need to use these words verbatim, but he's saying that what are we supposed to be focusing on here? What are we supposed to be praying for? When we first honor our Father and give him glory and praise, that's how we worship him. But his kingdom come, his will be done. Where? On earth, as it is in heaven. Heaven don't need heaven. It's earth that needs heaven. So that's why we're here, is to get that communication so we can glimpse into the eternities and see what heaven's like, and then we put it here on earth, a place where it is needed very badly. And he says, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. The kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. When this kingdom comes on earth, and his will be done, as it is in heaven, it will be forever, brothers. The Bible talks about a kingdom that literally is going to take over the whole earth. And we'll continue shortly on number 5.